We've started the year with a documentary that showcases a legacy that deserves a recognition. Out of both of you, whose idea was it to make this documentary?
It was Shashi's idea. So it so happened that I narrated him one incident that a few years back, about 8, 10 years back, 9, 10 years back, there was an instrument available in the market where it had about 10,000 songs in it. And I used to hear that, a transistor, wherever I used to carry it with me. But one day I thought, let me see, hear my father's song, and my father's name was not there. None of his songs were there. And I felt very bad. Okay, it's now my father has worked, given such beautiful compositions, and they have not respected him by putting his name and putting his songs. So I told that to Shashi. And Shashi said, why are you worried? Let's make a documentary on it. That's how.
Yeah, that's exactly this whole idea came about. And a couple of days later, he suggested that Shashi, I think the new generation may not be able to connect with the dad's song because three, four generations have come. So let's, put all other Roshans also in it. And I saw a great arc because grandfather, two sons, and now the grandson doing wonderfully well in cinema. So yeah, so the rest of the three Roshan were joined and became the Roshans.
Can you talk us through a bit behind the logistics behind making this documentary? As I said, it spans across three generations. So, how long did it take, and what was the process behind it?
So it took more than 2 years to make this documentary, including research, which was a very important, essential part of this journey. And after that, we started shooting people who are associated with the Roshans in terms of their work, in terms of their friends, and you know, people who've been close to them, who can perhaps tell the story from their perspective to the audience. So yeah, so that list was made, and then the research on those people also about their work with them,
Okay.
without them, and then we started the interviews and made up this whole entire thing. But the idea was that to reach behind the popular faces, they are known. This is a very known family to the world as actor, as director, producer, and music directors. But who these people really are was was the challenge. And my whole effort was that let's find out who these people really are. And I think that's the most fascinating and attractive part of this documentary, where you get a peep into their lives.
Yes, so it's an untold story of three generations. I saw it not only as a documentary, but you've also told a story of struggle, sacrifice, and survival, right from Roshan Lal Nagrat, Rajesh Roshan Rakesh to your brother, yourself, and your son Ritik. So, Shashi, you've touched a bit about how you unveiled it, but how do you tell this untold story of the Roshans? How did you unveil it?
Documentary is a very spontaneous process. So you have an idea in your mind and you have a kind of a blueprint. But as you keep creating more and more data and interviews of people and knowing more about your subject, uh, and a story starts building up around you, and you must be very perceptive what to choose and what not to choose. So,
Mm.
and that's the most important thing, because it can be a big trap, because they're all very successful people, and you feel ki, okay, now let's put all these ingredients. It might be liked by people, talk about that film because it is a popular thing. So you have to avoid all those traps and stick to the story. Stick to the story of the human beings. And that exactly. Now look at, I mean, this could have been a Chitrahar, a fabulous Chitrahar, and people wouldn't have mind that also. That you are one after another, there is a beautiful song coming with lovely location, and they will say, wow, 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 maza aa gaya. But this
Uh,
depth, this emotion, and this information wouldn't have been there. So we
Well,
concentrated on those two, three things, along with, of course, music is a integral part of their journey.
it
So,
is.
but the important aspect was their personal story and all these things.
Rakesh ji, you've been instrumental for infusing masala commercial cinema with sensibilities, for always telling the story of the underdog. So I've got a question for you that while currently commercial cinema is struggling to make money at the box office, what do you think we need to do to make commercial kind of blockbuster films?
No, nothing should be done initially. It has to be within you. To make a commercial film is not an easy job. It's very, very difficult. That's why today, if you see in the last 10 years, people are finding it very difficult to make a commercial film. The most difficult is to make a commercial film. Niche films anybody can make. But a commercial film, what it does is that from a smallest village in India, it goes up to Australia, it goes up to Los Angeles, and people see it all over the world. So we have to make a film where the whole world can see, the whole world can identify. But we take newer subjects which are not been made earlier, and then we decorate it with songs and with good locations and good performances, and then we release the film.
While you're talking about your films, you also took a really big risk when releasing Kaho Na Pyar Hai. That's been revealed in the documentary that your house, your cars were mortgaged. So, what made you take such a bold step for this film that made Ritik an overnight sensation?
It's not that as a filmmaker, because when I was making a film, I was just thinking as a filmmaker. I was not thinking about Ritik. I said I've selected a story, which is a love story, and it has to be told in very good locations. Because locations also play a very, very big part. So I shot in New Zealand, then I shot in Krabi Island, where there were no hotels there. There was one small hotel with 6 rooms, and the whole unit stayed with people in people's house. Two people sharing with somebody with other families. This is how
Okay.
I shot, and I'm very. I feel that the picture was with newcomers, and the distributors were not coming so forward to buy the
Coming
film.
on board for it.
Yeah, but then I didn't care for it. I said no, let me make the film, and then they realize what I'm making. So when I made the film and showed them, they all lapped in.
No, and it's a success. It's being rerun in cinemas now after 25 years. How do you feel about that? What a celebration.
Yeah, yeah, I feel very good because till today, after 25 years also, people have the same craze for the film. The same music has been heard umpteen times. People are dancing on the stage. It feels very good.
It feels good. No, it's definitely one of my favorite films also. So it feels really good that it's still being watched by so many generations across the globe. So congratulations on that milestone. Just another thing which I really liked about the documentary that it also shines light on the woman behind the Roshans, the wives who are the pillars behind the strength of Roshans. Shashi, how did this come out? Was it a part of the organic process or was it infused in the script?
I live with three girls, one my wife, two daughters. So, influence of women anyway. Jokes apart, of course, I believe that women influence is a lot to do with how you shape your career. And in their story, right from the beginning, the mother, Iraji, was a very strong woman,
Mhm.
as
Yes.
you've heard and seen. After that, Pinky ji, who was from a very, very affluent family of a big producer director, got married to a guy who perhaps had nothing at that time besides hope and aspirations. But she makes it with him. She says, she gives him the confidence that let doesn't matter, yeah, chalne do. So
Mhm.
these are the women who have shaped their career, their lives, and continue to do so. And it doesn't stop here. It continues with how her relationship with the son and goes on. So I think, yeah, women are a very important part of anybody's journey, and in this particular story, all the more.
Yeah. We also really loved how renowned artists like Shah Rukh Khan, Priyanka Chopra, Madhuri Dixit, Preeti Zinta, Asha Bhonsle ji shared their experience in this documentary. Out of their stories, which is the one that really touched your heart, Rakesh ji?
No, what happened was that Asha ji is a very close family friend of ours, and she knew me when I was a kid. We used to stay in the same colony, Ratna ji, Asha ji, myself. I was a kid, my father, my mother. So I thought that she knows more about my father than I know, because I was a kid when I was staying in that colony. So I spoke to her and I told her that I'm making a documentary. Will you come and share your views on my father? She said, of course I would, because he didn't get his due, and I want to give him all the due today. And that's how people joined in Suman Kalyanpur, Sudha Malhotra ji, Anand ji from Kalanji Anand ji, and all my friends who worked with me in my films, always Rajesh. Somewhere we left a goodwill, and on one phone call, they all came to speak about us.
No, definitely. We loved hearing about them. Just as a last question, Jadoo from Koi Mil Gaya was originated in Australia. Tell us a bit about your experience, as our fans over here in Australia will love to hear about it.
No, no, I went to Australia, and there were two studios over there which make these animatronics. And the first one I went was a very big studio. So he asked me, "What do you want?" I said, "I want a small alien to be made." And so he didn't ask me for the story. He straight away jumped to the money part of it. How much will you pay me? I charge very high and this thing and all that. I said, "I'll get back to you tomorrow." Because I thought, if a man is talking like that, I don't think so he will understand the emotions, what I want from Jadoo. So the next day I went to the other studio, and they were husband and wife, Mark and Lara. And the first thing they asked me was, "Please, can you narrate us the story?" And when I narrated the story, they had tears in their eyes. And they said that we'll meet tomorrow. And the very next day, they made a sketch and showed me. I said, "Yes, this is what I want."
That's amazing, and then it became history after that. So originating from Australia. Thank you so much for your time today. All the best for further. The legacy may continue for the Roshans, and it was a pleasure talking to both of you today. Thank you so much.